Okay, and we are live on YouTube, and we are live on Periscope. You think we should move it?
No, it looks
Well,
fantastic. Oh,
from
right
here.
here.
Yeah, because of this.
If you want to. But go
Okay.
ahead, give your introduction first, and then
Okay.
me and Dia start talking. Hey, y'all. We over here trying to technicalities.
Okay, to everybody out there, hello, hola, konnichiwa, salam, ciao, namaste. Peace to all. This is the Pink Elephant in the Room conversation, and we have our guest from Holistic Roots,
Yes, Kim here.
and then a new guest.
Hello, Zarish.
Okay, and what we're going to be talking about for today is unconditional love. We're going to let them start first. I'm going to just fix something real quick so the people on YouTube are able to see us a lot better. I know you people on Periscope can definitely see it easily, but we got to fix it for YouTube right now. But they're going to go ahead and start. Go ahead.
Yay. Okay, girl. Unconditional love.
Yes.
Ooh,
Exactly
what's
what does it mean?
Yes. To be unconditional. Okay, so um acting, receiving without cause.
And expecting anything bad.
Yes.
Even loving, even when you don't agree, you don't understand, you really can't accept,
Yes.
but just still loving regardless.
Yes.
Yeah.
I give thanks. And it takes a level of courage and a level of compassion in order to deal with ones who may sometimes not be acting in the favor that you would like. And being in that state of mind allows you to have a lot of self-love in order to radiate to the next person. And a lot of times we don't really pay attention to the love that we project to ourselves, let alone other people. So if we don't have unconditional love for ourselves, and I'm meaning like on the aspect of having too much pressure, putting ourselves in positions where it's so much weight that we're not forgiven to the things that we have to take time for processes. So then it's like that practice and rhythm within ourselves. We have to give that time and compassion to and be unconditional no matter what anybody does, even yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say even everything.
Yeah.
All your faults, your flaws, the things that you don't understand, things that you don't like, that you've had to deal with. And unconditional love to me is also um, forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself and understanding that you are growing, you're going through stages, and it's okay to fuck up, okay, and come back around.
I think what you have to especially realize is that a lot of us, including myself, at times we look at ourselves and think I'm not good enough at this or that, and you need to. It's not about what's not important is what's happened to you in the past. All that matters is what you see yourself as of now. What do you choose to be? Not what people tell you you are. And it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter if people said the worst about you, whatnot. If you truly, genuinely desire to change who you are within yourself, then you look within yourself and you be that. You be the change you choose. Don't worry about what other people say, because people are gonna say whatever they want. People are gonna hate you for whatever you want. You can't. There's nothing you can do about that. So the only thing you can do is love you for you. And the funny thing to me was when I was younger, it was usually about like love, 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 love. And then the more I wanted to learn about it, the more I felt like I desire to understand true love. I desire to understand unconditional love. And now I'm at that basis where it's not even about understanding, it's being that unconditional love in self. If you desire to be that unconditional love, one of the things I've learned, the quickest way for you to get to unconditional love in self is give someone else unconditional love, and you will see within yourself the unconditional love you have. What you see in others, you see in yourself. So if you are giving that to others, you will realize immediately so that you have that within yourself. And that's something you have to portray with your own kindness and care.
Give thanks. Give thanks. And that's a constant practice because we play you know, these tennis matches in our head a lot, you know, and the ego comes into play,
Yes.
which is needed. We need that to participate in this whole you know, world that's created around. Um, it's just making sure that we have mindfulness within that. What am I feeding my spirit on a consistent basis? Am I giving myself enough time to resolve a lot of thoughts or emotions that we have to process each and every day? Are we giving ourselves enough encouragement and support? And that's necessary, yeah, because that's that unconditional aspect. You know, and a lot of us who definitely do participate in you know, aspects of religion and our spiritual practices, that it teaches you to definitely participate in, you know, the present. And a lot of times we gravitate towards so much of thinking of what's ahead and what's coming to, you know, our future, or I have to do this, I have to do that, that we're not focused on like the right now and engage in just interaction with one another,
Enjoy
or
your
having
journey.
like, you know, just realistic moments where our mind isn't wandering to the next, because it keeps us stuck in this this sort of mind trap where we are consistently on this, you know, circular motion of I gotta do this, I have to do that, I have to
Right.
participate there, what about the next? And we're thinking 5, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8 days, you know, ahead, that we're not enjoying. So it's like that's the art of just like finding that common space within yourself and saying, I'm here in the now, and I'm participating in my experience. And that's all we've come to do.
I think I want to add to what you're saying. Like
Yeah,
a
me too.
mentor of mine named Neil Donald Walsh, he said, in a sense, that, you know, many of us are focused on, I got to get the house, I got to get the wife, I got to get the husband, I got to get the car, I got to get the house, I got to get the other house, the other car,
Yes,
the other
yes,
success.
yes.
And this is our
Yeah.
this is
whole
literally our whole
Yeah.
life of what we think life is about. We
Yes.
think that success is everything, but yet it's so much more than that. I mean,
But isn't success what makes you happy?
no, don't
I
get
mean,
me,
you
don't get
can
me
turn
wrong.
that into your gifts can
But
be
I don't
turned
agree.
into. Okay, go ahead.
I don't agree, because as we've seen, a lot of very successful people still have suicidal situations. They still are unhappy. I feel like
But
a
is
lot of
that truly success?
no,
Well,
Or
no.
is it participating in?
Well,
it's
it
false.
depends on like. Here's a perfect example.
Being devil's
There was a
advocate.
German guy. He was making $6 billion.
Yeah.
One of his trades, I believe, he lost $3 billion, and he said he was sorry to his family and everything, and thought he was a horrible person. He ended up doing suicide.
But that's the insecurity with expectations, and that just all boils down to the principle of like that self love, that belief system of like,
right.
I am
Now,
not bound to these things. I'm not bound
Yes.
to any job.
Yes.
I'm not bound to any activity or people or group of things that are
Yeah.
outside of myself. I am only responsible for my being.
I feel like you can only
And
be spiritually wealthy. That's the only
Oh,
wealth to
well,
me that matters.
and then a lot of things will fall into
to
line
place, yes.
when you're on your divine path with self, and that's just being in recognition of that,
Yes.
and growing within a lot of the seeds that you plant for yourself. So I mean, I definitely give thanks, because it's all a learning experience, and it's not no perfect way. It's not one way.
Correct.
And you know, just not holding yourself to what maybe the next person does, because your divine path is your divine path, and we all have to understand that. I think the best what was that meme? It was saying, I want everybody wake up and realize that we all don't know what the hell we're doing.
Yes.
It's like,
No, and I think that what I'm saying in a sense is that I'm generalizing it, that this is what we consider to be success, and that's all we think it is in a
Yeah.
sense
Right. It's
about
way
that.
more.
But the thing is, you have to understand, of course, yes, we're reaching out for space, but what about the fact of other people who desire to reach in this space. There are rules and regulations for people to do that. Why not let someone else create that and bring it forth to the whole to create
But
that
that's
and
creating your
further?
own reality.
No,
No,
I agree
understand.
with you,
Okay,
but you
okay.
know what I mean. That people
Yeah.
hold you back in that sense. I'm
Yes.
talking about expanding success to the entire collective
Yes.
of
Instead
if
of just for you.
yes, and
Yeah.
instead of just for you, if that person creates something that's beneficial for all of us,
Mhm.
instead of trying to take away their chance of doing
Right.
it or make sure that it
Having
doesn't
unconditional
become
love
something,
for all.
unconditional love doesn't
Oh.
just extend to us, but of course, we have to for now, because of our primitive nature as of
Mhm.
now, grow that part of us. But as we're growing this part of us, the goal is to expand to that unconditional love of we have to allow our own people of all, not just,
But
it
it's
doesn't
the
matter
oneness.
color.
Okay,
Yeah, it doesn't matter
so
color. I'm just saying the entire human race, allowing you to create something that allows better for us, allowing us to expand and create
Mhm.
colonies.
Mhm.
If it's
Mhm.
not working here, to grow and expand to make it work elsewhere. But at the same time, we gotta also, now I think about it, we have to work here first, make it work
Yeah.
here before you go to a different place.
Listen,
Because
well,
it's like if we go to Mars or something, or if we go to Jupiter, we could
I
tear
mean,
that
but
up
yeah,
from there.
but just understand, but being the one and being
Mhm.
in recognition that we are the one, and everything is us, and we are everything, and being a whole of the body. When you vibrate and you resonate within your nature, yourself, you start to understand that everything around you is affected.
Mhm.
Being in that present state and having that mind frame of saying, I choose to be mindful
Mhm.
about the energy that I project. I'm only responsible for the energy that I project out and what I accept in.
Mhm.
And anything else is not within my control. But I can control here.
Of
And a lot of
course.
people have a hard time because we participate in
And trying to control it
trying
all.
to control or go with something someone else is
Uh-huh.
controlling and being in that
Usually
space.
what's on
And
TV
that's
or media and
right,
stuff, that's
and that's
seen.
being in that mind frame of saying, I am in recognition
Mhm.
of myself. I am in, I always say, I am in creation. I am of creation, and everything around me exists
Well,
as one. So it's like, but I mean, and it's hard to get that just being in society, and I know that the pressure of those things makes it
I don't think
difficult
we
for
slow
some.
down. I don't think we slow down enough.
No.
Like, I feel like when it comes to that, like with what you said about expanding outward, you have to work within yourself. I feel like along your path to get to whatever you consider success to be, you will find self-love, unconditional love, all that stuff. But it starts first with being patient, slowing all the way down, facing yourself first, seeing what your issues are, your flaws are, seeing how you participate, like you said, what energy you put out to others, how you're receiving things, because you have to figure out your triggers. You have to figure out all of your different emotional issues that you have and what you're basically what you're imprinting on everybody else.
Yeah.
And allowing. And once you figure all that out, then now you can become a better person. You can let success and wealth, all these things come in. You find unconditional love because you're giving it, you're receiving it. And that's how you get to your success. And you can only expand further. You can only expand further after you figure that part out.
Well, of course,
it'll be a
because
waste.
it starts with you before you start with anyone else. To add on to what you're saying, I think the biggest part is we know what unconditional love is,
Some
but
don't.
we no, I mean
Some don't.
to a certain degree at least.
Yeah.
But what I mean is to add on to that is we don't know how to love unconditionally. It's something like you're saying we're moving too fast in the sense of going. We're literally moving too fast to the point of where we're not acknowledging we don't know how to
Or like
love
you
unconditionally.
said, they working to get to somewhere when they're not even enjoying. Like every day, I'm seeing this person, I'm experiencing that person. They're worried about what am I getting? Okay, now tomorrow, what am I gonna
Well, I
get?
think it's also the ideology. I've discussed this too many times where, there's the stereotype for both men and women that I have to have the house and the car and everything else, or she won't stay with me.
Right.
Or for her, I have to look pretty, I have to work out, I have to do X, Y, and Z, so I don't lose him.
And that's a part of that program right there, and accepting
Right.
what
Breaking
it is
it,
you
get out of
see
it.
fit for.
Matrix.
Yeah. But what about those who seek engagement or okay, let me rephrase that. individuals, and I myself have been in experience with that from time to time of being in spaces where you are accepting energies because of maybe loneliness, maybe because of an emptiness that you feel because you're not giving yourself time to adjust to your own personal nature and allowing
I think that leads
yourself to
what you
accept
resist
just
persists.
anything. Yeah. And for those who are in those spaces, I always say when you're feeling detached, when you're feeling like you need to be engaging with somebody and you're not comfortable with being alone, that means you're not spending enough time with self. You're not loving on self enough. And I see that time and time again with
you looking for somebody else to feel
fill in, and that's only just to stimulate you. You know what I mean? Love self enough to where if nobody else is engaging with you or someone does enter your life and leave, you're okay because you're still full. You fill your cup up and you engage with yourself with unconditional love, to the point where no matter what, and that's male, female, other. It's just, having that sense of love for self and understanding that there are seasons where you're going to have to participate in, you know, not isolation, but
to an extent, being by yourself.
What do we call it? I call it refuge or
I call it
solitude.
I call it cocooning.
And you go within and you start to understand that, all right, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what makes me happy, this is what makes me extremely, sensitive, or this is what enlightens me, or this is the type of energy or environment. And it's like you start to understand what your environment is you're creating around you, and it makes it better so that when anybody comes into your space, they're a bonus. They're a bonus, so much so to where anybody who comes in should only enrich your life and expand your happiness because you're already content.
To add on to what you're saying, in a sense, is we don't realize, in a sense, that to add on to what you were saying, that you not only do you need to be fulfilled with yourself, but we use relationships as a sense to say that to have someone to validation, and for someone to complete me. And it's not about that. You are complete. You are sharing an experience with someone else who is also completing. It's not even about that. It's evolving each other. Like, to me, when you're in a relationship, it's never about you completely, but evolving the relationship to both heights of both of you growing who you truly are. Like she said, you're both growing who you are. That person should be there to evolve you further, not to delegate, in the sense that, oh, you're the other half of me. There are no halves. There is, of course, energy, masculine and feminine. However, you both have the same thing one way or another. So it wouldn't really matter, in a sense. That's why you already complete the self. So it's up to you to choose to be who you truly are, and not. And it leads back to the status quo of what people think love is. Even when we talk about weddings, that's another status quo of the fact that you need to put a ring on it to show them how much you love them. You need to give them a white dress. And most of us don't realize, and we actually talked about this the other day, how just marriage is another game in itself. There's no necessary need.
But
I've heard from people.
That's like unrealistic expectations, because that goes back to understanding building with somebody, or even sharing space with somebody, to see even if you are capable of engaging in sharing even space, which is energy. And to say, if I like, and that's a lot of people in some relationships where they dive quickly in, and it's like, let's have this experience first and see how we get along within the same environment. Are your likes my likes? Or even if we do have differences, can we be okay to agree to disagree at moments, or settle those isms where and that's, you know, one of my greatest experiences right now is just to have that understanding with someone and to say, okay, I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to participate in your environment and also be in recognition of mine, which is my spirit, my energy, my heart, my mind. Um, and it just makes it even more, um, I guess, in a sense, it expands.
Well, see, the way, like what you're saying, I get it, because what I constantly see is, okay, for one, a lot of people, they grow up with their families, and all they know is who their families tell them they are, what their family tells them they need to be, and what they need to have, you know, in their life. Right, and then they go from that to, okay, I'm in a relationship, and they go from relationship to relationship, only knowing who they are with somebody else, and they never can say, okay, from this period of time to this period of time, I was by myself. I figured out what I like, what I didn't like, what I needed from myself and from the world, you know, what my expectations are. So now you have people who either get into relationships or marriages or whatever, and the other person is like, well, how do you want me to love you? What do you like? What do you want to do? And that person has no idea, because they've only experienced it with another person telling them what they're gonna, how can I say, agree to do. Like, you know.
But I think that even leads again back to the stereotype, because even in my own past situations, it's like, what do you want me to do? How can I change this? How can I grow this and everything?
And you should be able to say, this is who I am. This is what I expect from you. This is what I want. People don't know that, so relationships don't last because they still finding each other or finding themselves.
I'm sorry. I think they also don't last for the simple fact that we still don't know in ourselves who we are. Right. So many people are looking for love but don't love themselves.
And don't know what
I was in that experience where I didn't love myself, but due to the fact of growing within me, that's what's made it easier for me not to worry about loving myself as much as other people, because so many people, they go out there and many of them will thrash you in the process because of the fact that they don't love themselves.
Like, that's uncomfortable for me to see you go through. So I don't like that you're doing better. I don't like that you're looking at something outside of the way I feel like it should be looked at. So don't do that. Like, from being, you know, practicing other religions, practices in spirituality, if you decide, hey, I don't want to do this, I want to be an artist, or I don't want to do that, they don't understand because it's not for them, but they're not going to allow you to do it, or they don't want you to allow, you know, they don't want to allow you to do that.
And I think on top of that, we go into, especially in relationships, we go into the future of things, like, oh, if we have children, you have to have this job, but what if you don't want that job? What if you want to do your own business, your own goals? Like you said, what if you want to be an artist and stuff? Would it be best for you to limit them of their future?
That's not conditional love.
Yeah, that's unconditional love with conditions. And that's something that you cannot give to a person. I think our hardest thing is we look at relationships like we look at businesses, that they have to have contracts to actually work. And we do this in not weddings, marriages. Marriages too.
Oh, my daughter can only marry you if you have this. What can you give our family?
But what I mean is simply in the sense that one paper can literally destroy, and what we don't realize is that paper is actually a fear-based paper. I want to be honest about it.
No, I'm getting it because I'm speaking from the other side of being married, and I understand, and I see other people and how it works, and I see. So it makes what you're saying. It makes sense.
Well, again, like, you see too many people where, you know, either it's a prenup or either no prenup and stuff, and then all of a sudden they lose half the stuff they have. And I think one of the biggest problems too is, and you and I have seen this. Like, remember, there was a father we saw. Who raised the child for 7 years, and the mom had been in jail, and she swiped the child from him. And what hurt my heart is the fact that this man has been taking care of this child, and I don't personally feel it would have worked for this mother to take care of him due to the fact that he was putting him in a condition to grow himself. I don't think that would help or benefit him just to simply swipe out a spite or whatever it was, because you have to understand, and we do this in everyday life. There's a joke that I remember hearing that you know, if the guy doesn't even have a good job or anything and can take care of the kids while he has the job, he can't have his kids. He has to give them to the wife or the ex-wife or not. And that is something that doesn't work. We need to look into fairness, the unconditional
Yeah.
love of growing the child itself. On top of that, you can't just split the parents and think that, well, oh well, like we use that in law and we don't even realize our own law is flawed in that
And that's a
process.
whole nother program of conditioning
Oh, yeah.
in the sense of like, wow, it leans into that space. Like,
But that goes all the way back to the assumption of nurturing only. Like, you know how they used to say way back, like, the father is only the provider, the mother is the at home nurturer. And I think that's what that really goes back to, feeling like the mother is the only one that knows how to really raise children, and the father is only supposed to be going out and working.
Yeah, and again, it's still a flaw in the system because of the fact that the father can do just as much as the mother, but many of us we haven't you haven't really portrayed that chance. So how would you know? Statistics haven't shown that chance for a person to grow in that sense. Because again, like I said earlier, you have both masculine and feminine
Right.
energy.
But
There is
now
no
more
difference from a
males-
man or a woman taking
But-
care of the child. It's just
Right.
who will grow and evolve with the child, and will the parent evolve themselves while the child is evolving.
Right. Now I feel like it's becoming better, and you're seeing, like, it's always existed, but you're seeing more and more where single fathers and his fathers take care of the children, because I feel like now we're coming into a time where more men are accepting their femininity and accepting, okay, wait a minute, I can nurture, I can do this, I can do that. You know, breaking the stereotypes, and also understanding themselves with the whole process of going through your path, going through your journey, understanding that, hey, I could do all this too. I have this masculine as well as this feminine energy. Let me work in both and try to provide my child from both sides.
but that's the balance that a lot of people, and I give thanks, like this generation now are finding healing
Yes.
within themselves, that these seeds that are coming now are going to be some amazing beings,
Yeah.
because a lot of us are in motions of healing ourselves and getting into an understanding of balancing our masculine and our feminine energy. So it's like, preparation, because we all come to do these amazing jobs, whether we're, indigo, crystal, rainbow children. We have to participate in that harmony of love. And what better way to do that is to, excel into the space of, complete unconditional love and forgiveness of everything that we are existing, as far as like just being like, these amazing like just our breakdown ourselves.
Yes.
We're so beautiful, just even how we're engineered, and we're capable of so much love.
Yes.
And heart chakra, projects to you. And I say that namaste, and it's coming from, I